Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name's Katie, and welcome to another diamond painting post review. In these videos, I like to take you through a diamond painting I've recently completed and just go really in depth on it. I want to talk about all the details of my experience working on this kit, what I think of the finished product, and just go through the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, let's talk about it so that you can decide if you feel like this is something that you want to buy, whether it's this exact kit or something else from this company. This project is called Two Witches. It's from the company Oraloa and is by the artist Maria Chetkareva. Let me grab the stats for you before we really get any further. This is my diamond painting logbook where I like to track kits that I start working on and complete. And let me see. Okay. So Two Witches. Size 55.7 by 70 centimeters, 51 colors, including some special drills I'll show you. Square diamonds. I started this kit on the 11th and finished it on the 23rd. And so it was a pretty, I don't know, it was a pretty decently quick finish. I had another project or two going on at the same time. I kind of went back and forth between. I also rank my kits based on confetti and enjoyment on a scale of 1 to 10, as well as track the drill count starting this year, 2025. Confetti, I did give this one an 8 out of 10, and enjoyment, I gave this one a 3 out of 10, which was in large part because of the confetti, a lot of which I had some mixed feelings about. We're going to talk about it in lots of detail. The things that I loved, the meh, and then the notes, which the main thing about this to note is that this was purchased in 2023, from what I remember. So it's a couple of years old. Why this is particularly important, I want to point this out right up front. I hope you're still here and haven't skipped ahead, but I have a hunch, well, rather, based on what I saw someone ask in Oraloa's Facebook group yesterday, it's currently October 2025, someone asked them outright if they hand chart their kits or do like hybrid hand touch-ups, and Oraloa responded and said hand charting. Someone commented on that and said that must be something that's relatively newer because some older kits definitely seem to be computer charted. I didn't see Oraloa respond to that. I'm just trying to provide information so that you could sort of take or leave that and do with that what you will. I'm going to talk about what my thoughts are with this, and one of the best things that I can suggest is to take a close look at the listing for a kit that you're considering purchasing, because I don't know that it always says when it was produced. For example, this kit, I think I got it when it was a new-ish release in 2023. I don't think it was 2022. I think it was 2023. I looked back and I couldn't find the email receipt. So I did try, but I couldn't find it. I didn't appear to have an Oraloa account. So here we are. But so while this kit was produced then, that doesn't mean that they aren't hand charting kits. They are saying they're hand charting kits now. But if you look at the listing for this kit, there'll be the original artwork, and then there'll also be in the listing a digital mock-up of the render. And I went and looked, and it does look like it is the same render as this one. That said, if you're looking at a kit and debating, if you'd like to get it and you're not sure about what the render might look like and how hand charted it is or not, I would try to look at the digital mock-up that they provide, and hopefully that'll give you a pretty good idea of what to expect. So I guess I just wanted to give all that information up front and explain kind of the context of like when I got this kit, and Oraloa is saying that they hand chart their kits, but I'll just want to give all that information to you so that you can just make informed decisions. That said, let me kind of take you through the different parts of this kit and kind of a little bit more about my experience of working on it. So this was a kit that I worked on for Drills and Chills, and is one of those kits I had been wanting to work on pretty much since I got it. This artist's work in particular, that artist is Maria Chetkareva, I love it. Oraloa has been releasing a lot of artwork from her lately that is really calling my name. And so a big part of my motivation to work on this kit was not only because it's been a little bit since I've done an Oraloa kit, but also because I was like, I just need to work on a kit from them again, that's artwork by this artist, so that I can get a sense for how do they do her artwork? What do I think about how it turns out? And that can inform my own decision about if I want to buy these new releases from this artist. And my, spoiler alert, would I? The answer is it depends. It really depends. And my goal is just to give you as much information as I can so that you're able to take that, look at what your priorities are, what your make or break it. Like, what are the things that are deal breakers for you when it comes to diamond paintings? What are your top priorities? And does this check those boxes? Those kinds of things. I just want to give all this information to you so you can make an informed choice. So, yes, anyway, I worked on this kit for Drills and Chills. Was really excited to get to it after wanting to get to it for a while. I started down here at the bottom of the kit. I really enjoy the orange ABs that are in these pumpkins. I think they're really pretty. You can see that extra sparkle there a little bit. I'll bring you down closer in a bit to show you too. And there's this emerald green AB in this plant that's really lovely. And there are certain parts of it, like the charting in the broom, I thought was kind of pretty. Like the lines that look like, oh, those are clean. And then kind of kept working my way up. The Void Kitty, you guys may or may not know, I have a Void Kitty. Is just a cat that's black or mostly black. I have a tuxedo cat that he's just the best. I'm obsessed with him. And so I have a soft spot in my heart for all things black cats, including in artwork. And so we have the cat that is doing the most. Maybe the cat is helping hold up the recipe book for her to read. So that was really cute to work on, and I keep going, and I'm really excited when I get to the row that has their faces in it, because you guys know when it comes to faces, that can really, especially if that's like the main, like that's the subject of the painting, how the face turns out is kind of important, right? I am reasonably confident, just given my own experience with working on a lot of different kits from a lot of different companies with a lot of different rendering styles. I think it's safe to say that their faces are, in fact, hand charted. They're very clean. Their eyes have like the maximum, maximum level of detail possible, kind of ideal charting to like make them look like eyes. If this were just a pure computer render, their faces would look like a mess, like honestly. So I am reasonably convinced that their faces at least were hand charted. And we have some color blocking in the window, which is great. A little bit of gapping. I'll show you up close in just a moment. I just want to kind of walk you through my experience of working on it. So I finished this row. I'm kind of, going one row at a time. And I have 2 rows left. I have this row and I have this row. And I start on this section and I go, this is a lot of confetti. What are some of these objects? I don't know. But we're going to trust the process, right? We're going to go with it. Get to here. Oh, blessed color blocking. This went like twice as fast. This section went like twice as fast as this section. Another section of color blocking. And we're back to confetti. Heaven or hell, you could decide. And then kind of lather, rinse, repeat for the top row. It's like here, and then a little bit of color blocking, and then more of just confetti. But here's the thing with lots of confetti and kind of renders like this, like looking at this through a camera lens, I'm looking at it right now and I'm going, you know what? It looks good. Okay. We're not going to try to beat around the bush here. In my opinion, the camera lens and the fact that you were 4 feet away from the canvas, those two things have a way of just like kind of consolidating the confetti and making it make sense, making what's happening with the colors, what it's trying to like get through to you in colors and textures. It makes sense between it being through a camera lens and you guys being further away. Now I'm going to bring you up close, and I think that's probably going to give you a little bit more of a sense of what this looks like in person, and certainly what it was like to work on when I was working on individual sections. So we're going to move it back down here. I'm going to zoom you in and we'll talk a little bit more. So this is down here where I started in on this kit, and there you can get a better look at these orange ABs, which I thought were such a nice touch. And then kind of came across this way. You can see there's starting to be little bits of random confetti in the back of this, like a counter, kitchen island, something. Then we keep going over. There's some color blocking in the floor and stuff. And then this really pretty emerald green AB in the plants. Then again, in these like leaves or whatever these are, confetti. I wasn't even sure what those were. And then we have, I assume there's some like crows. I don't know. They're really small to be crows. Some kinds of birds in this cage. And, you know, there's something happening with those lines. And we see lots of confetti in like her dress. But again, when you pull back, it kind of like the way the light's playing off of it and the textures, it's like, okay. And I wish we'd had some cleaner lines and stuff with like the cat's whiskers. This one's like going straight into his eyeball. And there's like, I don't know. I would have loved maybe like they hand charted the faces, I think. Like, can we hand chart the cat's face too? That would be kind of cool. Actually, you can see some of the like artifacting and confetti around the eyes. Like that's kind of the effect that we would have had in these witches' eyes. I'm just going to show you. Comparatively speaking, I feel like just this contrast speaks for itself, right? But wait. I know I'm being a little, I'm probably coming off as rather negative. I don't know. I didn't love working on these parts, and so that's part of it. But I'm trying to just present the information because some of you probably look at this and go, actually, this is a rendering style and a thing that I prefer. Okay, and keep in mind, Oraloa is saying that they hand chart their kits and that maybe is a thing with their newer kits. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. So there's these shelves back here, but then look, we have some pretty nice confetti or color blocking, I'm sorry. It looks like maybe some color blocking with these bottles. Like maybe they charted that and cleaned it up a bit. Her face looks great. I'm not sure what's going on with her hat, but like, okay, sure. Like there's this really pretty light yellow AB at the brim of her hat that is nicely placed. Same with this witch's hat actually, because it's like, oh, like the light reflecting off of it. And then here's the wall and the shelves. I'm just going to show it to you. Color blocking. Actually, some nice clean lines with the like kind of lattice work in this hanging planter. And then here's this background. I'm sorry, you guys. It's not my personal preference. It's not my cup of tea. I would have loved some uniformity with the colors in here. There's a lot of dithering. Like just a lot of just tons of confetti whenever there's a color transition. There's some red ABs in these hanging, I think they're peppers maybe, and some really pretty emerald green ABs in these hanging plants. I like that placement a lot. These are really pretty, little hanging star and moon. And then over here, like there's this pretty like kind of, I think I didn't notice until I pulled back to look at it. This is like a lace doily or something. And there's the yellow AB and these hanging flowers. So that's what it's like up close. So these sections took me a really long time to complete comparatively. I think that this section was probably like this big. I did kind of big sections, and that was over 2 hours, if I'm remembering correctly. It was over 2 hours, and I'm not the world's fastest diamond painter, but I feel like I'm decently efficient at it. So, but then some of these areas, like obviously the color blocking through the window, I did also want to point out, I could have placed a little bit better, but especially when you have big color blocked sections of light color drills, you're going to notice, potential, lazy, you're lazy with multi-placing like I kind of was at this point, you're going to notice gaps and stuff. And this was just, I got to the section, it's like I tried, but I also was like, I just would like to get through this. I'd love to finish this kit. And so some parts I feel like look a little more even than others, but the gapping you don't tend to see when there's, well, sometimes with these darker colors, it's not as bad. You can kind of, a little bit. Yeah, you can see it there. But when there's a lot of confetti, you don't tend to notice gapping like that either. But, okay, let me zoom you back out and kind of notice the difference, like especially when we go from like looking at these kind of shelf and wall areas and zooming out and the difference that you see and how that looks and how that comes together. So something that I want to make sure that I acknowledge, because I have a feeling otherwise I will have some of you guys reminding me of this, which is completely fair. I will absolutely always take your feedback, is this idea that diamond paintings are designed truly to be looked at from a viewing distance. 100% you could argue that what I just showed you looking up close, where you were around a foot from the canvas, diamond paintings aren't designed to be looked at with your nose a foot or less from the canvas. That is true and valid and worthy of taking into consideration when you're deciding what you think about how this turned out. Because like I said, when I step back, when I look at this through a camera, this comes together really, really well. But I still wanted to show you, my real goal of showing you up close what this looked like was more to do with what this canvas will be like to work on. It's when you're working on it, no matter how it looks when it's complete, when you're working on it, it's still going to be a lot of confetti, or it's still going to have this sort of experience of working on it. And I feel like that's worth talking about just because time is valuable, and I want to try to make sure I'm spending my time in ways that I actually are enjoyable to me. So while obviously this wasn't something that I had as much enjoyment in doing, like that like lots of confetti, high confetti, that's not going to be the case for everybody. There's plenty of you that would look at it and go like, no, that's fine, or that's fun, or that's totally worth it to me. And I want to make sure you know that is valid and you can disagree with me. That is a-okay. We're talking about a lot of subjective things here, which is really a lot of what rendering preferences are, is just subjective. So I know I talked about that at length and truly came off as pretty negative, and I do apologize for that. I want to be honest about what my personal experience was of working on this kit, but I also would be remiss if I didn't truly talk about what's good about this kit and be honest in that, like, I bought this kit with my own money and I would buy from this company again with some caveats, like going into it with eyes wide open. So because the quality on so many other factors were things that I really loved and were priorities to me. Let's talk about those. So things like we have licensed artwork and a really amazing variety of artwork available from the shop. They also prioritize non-AI artwork at the moment. I believe that they have some AI artwork that they label as such. So if that's something that you take into consideration, then I want to make sure you're aware of that. I also thought that the drill quality was pretty solid on most of these colors. There were a couple of lighter colors. In particular, there was like a light pink color, I think it was 819 and 818, that those were a bit trash prone, but you can see I had enough left over in both. It's not like I was in danger of running out. The white was okay. You can see a little bit of trash in there, but these I'm pretty sure with reasonable confidence, they're resin squares and you're going to run into some trash. The ones that I just noticed a much higher level of trash were some of these light colors. Maybe this one too. For some reason, light colors, like really light colors, and then like really dark colors can be kind of trash prone. Special drills, we had orange ABs, green ABs, light yellow ABs. I came close to running out of those actually. And since this kit's released, I know that they have expanded and have even more special drills to offer, like those glimmer, shimmer, like dust drills that are really popular right now. They, I believe, have those, which is really exciting, and they have mini sets. Like, Oraloa is doing some fun stuff, and so the drill quality I feel like is good, so I feel good about recommending their square drill kits, and I feel like they've made some improvements on them, even from one of the first kits I worked on from them. I had some issues with those square drills, and I think they might have been acrylic. So Oraloa is listening to feedback and trying to make improvements, which is huge in my opinion when it comes to shops like this. And so I appreciated that this was not difficult to work with in terms of the square drills, because that is kind of right up there with the rendering in terms of deal breakers for me. If the drills are frustrating to work with, then that's going to tank my enjoyment of it too. And that was not the case with this kit, which I'm really happy about. The canvas material, the glue quality, and the symbol clarity, those kinds of things were all great. Another point in big favor of Oraloa, which I haven't shopped from them since they have made this change yet, because this just happened like a week or two ago. I'm filming this in like mid-October 2025, but they just opened a warehouse in the US. And I'm really excited for this because I think this is going to help with the cost of shipping, because otherwise they're based out of Canada. They still have their Canada warehouse and now they've opened a US one, but this will also help with some of the like fees and stuff that's going on right now. So US residents, we have that to be excited about, and I need to go and check out what kits they have in stock at their US warehouse for sure, see what the shipping kind of looks like and stuff. And yeah, so there really is honestly a lot that this company has going in favor of it. And my biggest, the main thing that affected my enjoyment of this kit is going to be, it's subjective. It's going to depend completely on you personally if that's also something that would affect your enjoyment of the kit, whether it's the process of working on it or how it looks completed. So that said, would I buy from this company again? I said at the beginning, yes, but the but is that I would just need to know that depending on when that kit was produced, like when it was created, when it was rendered, that I need to look at that digital mock-up to try to get a sense for what does this rendering look like. And if it's artwork that I really, really love, like artwork from Maria Chetkareva, and I need to have it, I'm going to look at the digital mock-up and go, am I ready for this? Do I feel like this artwork is worth it? And if so, yeah, absolutely, I would buy it. I feel like it's worth the cost for what you're getting. And I say yes because if I know what to expect from a kit, if I know that I'm looking at a lot of confetti in some areas, or just overall, if I kind of know what to expect with my experience from the company, then I'll be okay with working on that kit, you know? So anyway, that was just a really long-winded way for me to say, like, as much as I spent all this time talking about what I didn't like about the experience of working on it, a lot of that was because I wasn't expecting it, and that's on me. And I'm really actually looking forward to now they've opened their US warehouse in particular, I'm going to be on Oraloa's website tonight, taking a look at what Maria Chetkareva kits that they have in stock. They have a couple artists I really like too. I'm kind of been eyeing their mini sets like I mentioned. And so I'm going to be going and shopping with Oraloa again. And so I really hope that this video, that my negativity didn't dissuade you from shopping at Oraloa. Honestly, I just wanted to be honest about how many times can I say honest? I wanted to just show as much as I could what my experience of working on this kit was like, so that you can decide if that's the kind of thing you'd like to work on. Again, with the caveat of they're saying that they do hand charting now. And so I will try to get a more recent release and do kind of an updated review with you guys sooner rather than later, because when companies are making improvements, that's important too. And I want to make sure that I'm sharing about that, keeping you guys up to date, and making sure that you're aware of the timeline of things when I'm talking about and reviewing kits like this. Because that's just, you should have all the information. So that's it, I think, for this review, guys. Like I said, I just really sincerely hope that it was helpful, and I would love to hear your honest thoughts in the comments below. Am I off base here? And whether or not you think I was off base does this look like a kit you would really enjoy working on? Also, I would love to hear from you, any kind of feedback really, but especially, have you worked on a more recent or a lower release, and was your experience is kind of how the rendering and charting looked? Was it noticeably different from this one? Please let me know. And if you don't want to leave a comment on this video, you're always welcome to email me. My email is always in the description of my videos. It's diamondsandwashi@gmail.com. Either way, thanks for watching. Take a look at my post-review playlist where you can see dedicated individual videos for individual kits that I've done review videos for. That came out really clunky. Basically, it's dedicated videos for individual kits. That's better. And I've done a lot of those over the past 5+ years from a lot of different companies. So take a look. Maybe you'll discover a new company you'd like to check out. And I also, if you want more snapshot, concise looks at kits I've completed, I do month in review videos each month. Just a couple weeks ago, I had my September month in review video go up where I talked about this kit. but in about a quarter of the time that I spent on it in this video. So if that's more your jam, and if you want to see a look at some kits that I don't always have time to do an individual video on, those month in review videos are the place to go. I'll have that playlist link below. So anyway, I hope you're doing very, very well and that you have a day and a week that's as wonderful as you are. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.